Good morning, good morning. I'm Brenda Perryman, and welcome to the show. We have an exciting show for you this morning. I'd like to introduce my guest, Mr. Roger Penzabene.
Bene.
Bene. Well, I was close. He is the chairman of the Highland Park Chamber
Chamber.
of Commerce.
Right.
And some people have asked me, a Chamber of Commerce? I didn't know we had one.
Well, we do. Uh, we established with the state in 2015, and took that. You go through all the compliance issues and everything, but we've been operational now for the past 8 months. We were fortunate working with Detroit Rescue Mission. They gifted us the building, the former nursing home. It used to be Royal Nursing Home
Oh, yes, on
at
Glendale.
91 Glendale.
Yeah.
That's our soon to, well, we're taking it out of blight status, redeveloping it, and that's going to be our headquarters for all things trade and business related. So we're developing that business and trying to attract big
Well,
business and small business to
Well,
Highland
with
Park.
the nursing home, I mean, with that building,
Right.
it seems like you could also set up some spaces, entrepreneurial spaces. You know, a
Right.
lot of places like downtown Bamboo, Detroit, and certain places, they have people who have startups, they have people who have their businesses kind of going, but they're not ready for their own brick and
Right.
mortar.
Right. Well, that's we're going to do all. We offer all the traditional services of a chamber of commerce. For those who don't know, I'm going to try to brief you today, but you can just Google Chamber of Commerce and find out what they do. But we do all the traditional things, but we push the edge, push the envelope for 21st century. So it's going to be incubators there. We're going to have all types, anything that's business related, all the way to teens, and we're starting a whole new program to have teens mentored in different aspects of business. It will be hands on. So we'll have training, education. We deal with global business, attracting that to Highland Park, and we're regional. We our headquarters is in Highland Park, but we can go to other metro areas and attract that business and intersect and have synergy with everybody.
Well, tell the audience some of the things that you've done in this 8 months.
Okay, within this 8 months, we first put together infrastructure of our board of directors to have the type of connections and resources that a city needs. You have to have the funding, and you have to have relationships with the government, elected officials, and different things like that. So we built our team. Our team has Mayor Yap himself, who is an ex officio member. We have George Inamdi from Inamdi
Galleries.
Gallery and Center, who is African American, a prominent African American globally in the art and
Right,
culture
he
field.
is. He is. I like it.
And he provides so many opportunities for all artists, but especially minority artists. Then we have Mr. Richard Rubens, who is the director of the Henry Ford Piquet Museum, and he led that restoration of that
There's a
building.
museum down
Yeah,
there?
on Brush and Piquet. That was Henry Ford's factory before he moved here to Highland Park,
Uh-huh.
when they still made them by hand. And it's a fabulous museum with a lot of history
Wow.
that connects back to Highland Park.
Yes, yes.
We will be setting up field trips and everything. But to answer your question more, we put our board together. You can contact me to find out more about Martha Scott, who a long-term native Highland
Highland
Parker.
Parker.
She's Wayne County Commissioner now. She's on our board of direct. She's on our advisory board. I'm sorry. So I can go on and on, but all our people are the real deal. They're professional, influential people with resources, and they care about Highland Park. They have a connection to Highland Park in some regard, and we're here as business people to lead the redevelopment to make Highland Park back to a world class city where people want to live, do business, and play. And we did a thing a couple of months ago at Michigan Works. We did a real estate seminar. We're trying to educate the stakeholders here and support first time buyers for young people, young families. We do a lot of charity work. We've made donations to different. Um,
Well, the
things there.
holiday season is upon us. Are you thinking about doing anything?
Yes, at the right here in Highland Park on December the 5th at the Elks Lodge, Metropolitan Elks Lodge, 50 East Manchester. I'm a member there and an officer as well. We're doing a thing for all. It's art appreciation. Any artist, you can be a photographer, a DJ, a musician, a dancer, a painter, any type of art, medium, and culture. Or you could just be a fan, and you can come. It's a free event. You can come to the Elks,
Uh-huh.
and you can come and socialize and network. You can bring some samples of your art if you want to. We support the Breakfast Club at Noni's Sherwood Grill on
Oh, I'm
Livernois
gonna. I planned on. They meet on
on
Mondays.
Monday, every
I,
Monday at
I'm
5
I'm
p.m.
gonna start going to that.
Yeah, and
I'm
yeah.
just gonna start going.
Yeah, and it's always a bunch of artists, and to show you how connected that is, Mr. Ponce from DIA, he's a frequent visitor there. George and Namdi goes,
Yeah,
and a lot of the
I can't go tonight because I have a board meeting, but I've been planning for the last month. I said I'm going to get over there because I know some of the artists
yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that, and it is really, really
and
nice.
and that's what I'm saying. That's an example. We're headquartered in Highland Park, but we do business everywhere, and we try to have synergy going with different mayors, elected officials, business people to connect everybody. Highland Parkers have to know that you have to connect and intersect with especially Detroit, with all the
Well,
development and the money. You have to develop relationships, and then you got Ferndale right behind you. So
let me tell
and
you,
Hamtramck to the east.
we were talking before about that Woodward corridor.
Right.
Now, from the river on north, you could see these things happening.
Yes.
And I mean, and you just mentioned Ferndale. Ferndale is bursting out all over,
Right.
so many things. In fact, I plan to have the mayor on the show to see, because I remember when Ferndale wasn't bustling.
Right.
Also, I remember when in Royal Oak, I could walk down the street and I was the only person on the street.
Yeah.
This was about almost 40 years ago, but they started bringing in businesses. More foot traffic came, restaurants, more people. They'd come there and they'd spend the day.
Right.
And as I mentioned to you before, we all look at Troy as being Troy, but Troy, Cruz and Muir, which is part of that Muir family,
Mm-hmm.
they moved from over near Big Beaver Road. They're right on Woodward and 11 and a half mile, and you could barely get a seat in
Right.
there. I mean, people see the value of the Woodward corridor. So I was so hurt to see, well, not that I'm a frequent McDonald's visitor, but that McDonald's closed, but their customer service wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah. Well, I didn't ever frequent there because just too busy, and McDonald's not my favorite overall. But I have spoken with Mr. Service, and he's, in my opinion, a very professional man, and his business integrity is there. So it's a lot of different dynamics that happen in business. But one thing business needs to survive is patronage, and they need
Yeah,
community
yeah,
support.
yeah.
So even from their staffing, if as a business owner, I may want to staff people out the community, but they have to be good employees. They have to be competent employees.
Absolutely.
So everybody has their part, and that's another aspect, another dynamic that the chamber is going to offer. We're ramping up now, so we can do HR and staffing, and we can train. We
That's
yeah,
excellent because one of the basic things you need is good customer service.
yes.
Because if your customer service is good, people will come back.
Right, right. So I said that to say, don't blame Mr. Service
I'm
or
not blaming.
no, but I want the community to know, get educated about business, get educated about your politics, get educated about civic responsibility and everything that makes a community, because you can't just depend on the business owners to provide everything, or the politician, or even like yourself. When you have this show, they have to participate and keep this show going and give you
Yeah, yeah.
suggestions for guests and things like that. So it's, everybody needs to throw in and get in the game with this.
Right, right. I agree. And see, Highland Park, I remember Highland Park, walking into Highland Park the first time. Well, really, I was 20,
Hmm.
something like that, when I started student teaching. And this was a bustling community.
Yeah.
On Woodward, they had appliance stores, they had restaurants,
Yeah.
they had just Sears.
Right.
They had all of this stuff going
But
on.
that's one thing I want to speak to as a
Oh,
personal challenge.
okay.
I grew up right on the other side of Webb in Boston, Edison. So I've been through Highland Park all my life, literally. So I shopped here, played here, went through here, did good and bad here. So I'm not a Parker, as I get reminded by a lot of people. But I care about the whole area, as because I live close by, I grew up close by. So I'm here hoping to own property residentially. We own the building on Glendale now, thanks to Detroit Rescue Mission. And also, I'm always here. Anybody who knows me, know I'm a member of the American Legion Post Naomi Bell, number 70, here in Highland Park. I'm a member and an officer at the Metropolitan Elks Lodge here in Highland Park. I'm good friends with Lucy Fry from Nandi's Knowledge Cafe. I'm invested in the community. I came here as a businessman and tried to open a concert hall at the old Uptown Electronics under
Oh,
Wyndham's administration. So that's the catalyst of how this all came about. So I'm invested in Highland Park. I care about Highland Park personally and from a business aspect. And hopefully, I will be a resident here and part of the future growth and redevelopment of Highland Park.
well, Highland Park has such historic homes.
Yeah.
I mean, homes built by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Hmm.
They have one thing about it, I guess, for me, why I keep on coming back to Highland Park.
Yeah.
Remember, I taught here just until 1988, but I never really left here. I started
Yeah.
teaching in a Southfield district, but I was teaching my Parkers, a lot of my Parkers' kids,
Right.
and I just never I never left. And after retirement, here I am back again because I love the community. They embraced me at a time when I was much younger, and I stay in touch with Highland Parkers because they have a different kind of heart.
Right.
They have a different kind of heart. And those were you got to stick with people thick and thin. I remember when Chrysler was here.
Hmm.
Chrysler left, but it doesn't make you not love the
Right.
community
Right.
still.
And a lot of people, a lot of successful people are from Highland
I
Park,
know.
and they are away now. They live in suburbs, etc. But they hear now the buzz about what Highland Park can be again, and they're ready to support. I meet with investors from overseas. I meet with investors throughout Michigan, and
What
they
kind of things are they talking about, or what are they interested
okay.
in? What are they looking to
Well, I'm going to
see?
give you a couple examples, but I have to say this. The first question they ask me is, what are the stakeholders doing? What do they want? We don't hear from them. We don't see them. We don't get any intel. But for instance, Hilton, I talked with some reps from Hilton Hotels, and that's a global hotel chain, and they own many different brands, not just Hilton, but
Right.
they do $17 million a year in travel and lodging with Magna Corporation, and they didn't know Magna was in Highland
In
Park.
Highland
And so
Park, yeah.
when I told them Magna was here, that changed the whole conversation. So just if a business is doing that type of volume of money with a client and they're going out to the suburbs to stay in Hilton's, if it was a Hilton or one of their brands right here in Highland Park would get that money, and that money trickles down into the community for your parks, your roads, your signage, and it attracts other investment. If it was a hotel here, the gas stations make money, the party stores make money, the community gets more benefits.
Well, it seems that if we could put the phone number at the bottom of the screen, we could, if you have any questions, you could call us. But it seems to me, Roger, that if we get that one anchor store
Right.
or one anchor business,
Right.
that can draw.
It'll bring everything back. And actually, you have anchors here. You have Coca-Cola, which is a
Like I
global
said, I did
conglomerate.
not realize Coca-Cola was here.
You have Coca-Cola. You have Magna, which is a French automotive supplier, a tier
Don't they make
one.
seats or
Yeah, Lear, I don't know
no?
exactly all what
Lear
they make,
makes seats.
but they are a tier one, which means they're at the top of the food chain for auto suppliers. And you have Penske. Everybody knows what Penske is
Is
doing.
he
And
here?
yeah, he has a corporation here. You have Vallejo. They're here. Yinfang, which is a Chinese international company, auto supplier. So the stakeholders here have to start making some demands. For instance, everything comes through the city council. If we can go out and try to attract business, the mayor can try to do everything. But that's why people have to know how their politics work, how each branch or phase of the government works. So if we bring people to the table and city council says no, then you don't get any help. If city council is not welcoming, if they're not and it's not just on them, but I'm saying where the buck stops. So the chamber, your chamber, and other business organizations like the business Highland Park Business Association, they can only do so much. The mayor and the city council have to make the final decision, but the stakeholders are the boss. That's who all the elected, regardless of what city, the stakeholders have to learn politics so they know how to make a request, so they know how to make demands, instead of just being victim to, oh, we'll just wait and see how
What
things going to
happens?
go and all of that.
Well, Southfield has a very vibrant chamber of commerce.
Yeah.
Because I know friends who have businesses in
Mhm.
Southfield, even home-based
Right.
businesses, and they are part of that chamber of commerce. So, what about my viewers who have home-based businesses?
Here's our requirements for business. As long as your business is registered and recognized as a legitimate business, it could be LLC. Even if you just have a DBA with your
Doing
local,
business
yeah.
as.
Then once you're registered and you have all your credentials in order and you're 18 years of age or over and you've been in business for at least 6 months minimum, you can join our Chamber of Commerce. So you can be a mom and pop, single operator, or you can be a big global corporation.
So, in order to be in the chamber of commerce, you have to have your business in Highland Park.
No, you don't. You just have to be a legitimate Michigan-based business. And if you're in Highland Park, that's the better. Our headquarters, we're called the Highland Park Chamber of Commerce because our headquarters is here. But we're more or less a regional. So when it's time to renew our name, we will incorporate regional in there to broaden the scope. But we are a nonprofit C6 registered with the state of Michigan and with the IRS. So some aspects of your donations and our development is tax deferrable. And you don't even have to have a business to be part of the chamber. If you're a stakeholder, which is a resident of Highland Park or one of the neighboring communities, and you just care, or you want to stay current on your information, or maybe you want to get closer to your elected officials, whatever, then you can be a part of the chamber. It's a lesser fee. Right now, we have a flat fee system. So for associate support, meaning non-business owners, then it's $150 a year. If you have a business of any size, right now it's $250 a year. And then you
And what are the benefits?
well, you get connected first to your business owners in your community. You can do things together to attract business, like in-kind services, special discounts, and promotional offers. We police up the money from corporations like Coca-Cola and different people who by law have to donate into that community.
Yeah.
It's some stipulations involved that the stakeholders are a big part of and the elected officials. But basically, we help get the conversation. The Chamber of Commerce is kind of the beacon. It's our job. We don't survive if we don't have members, and we don't get members if we can't effectively promote the members to help them to attract business. We have to attract business. We have to help sustain and expand business. So, for instance, if you have a business, we come in and to say, hey, well, maybe you can upgrade your marketing. You might have some social media, some website, or you may not.
Does
And we
the
help you get it
chamber,
going.
yes, because it seems like you all would be eventually doing some workshops for businesses
Right.
on marketing your business
Right.
or branding or something like that.
We consult to help you sustain and maximize your business. We connect you with support or different types of. It may be ancillary services you need. It could be you have your business owner and you say, hey man, nobody stops because they can't park. We need parking meters. The Chamber of Commerce goes out and deals with the politicians to get parking meters. We go out and get volunteer monies and volunteer services to do things in the community like expand and improve parks, to get signage. Like, you need to have signs that say welcome to Highland Park. A lot of people ride through.
They don't
down
know
Woodward
they're in
and
another
don't
city.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of things we offer, but basically we bring value to the businesses and our client members and to the community as a whole. So we want the support. We're going to be here. It's nothing that says you have to join the Chamber of Commerce, but if we're all working together and we're all bringing something to the table, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, that's very, very important because whether you like it or not, the Woodward corridor is getting ready to pop. It's already popping in some parts, but I've watched it.
Right.
See, Woodward is my favorite street in the
Right.
whole wide world.
And there's a lot of history about
Right,
Woodward.
and I've always looked at the demographics starting at the waterfront, going all the way down as north as you could get on Woodward. The dynamics change
Right.
and everything. I mean, that's why, because I keep on looking. I said, God, every time I look, there's more businesses
Right.
popping up. So why can't Highland Park be a part of that?
There's no reason why they can't. They just have to, the stakeholders and the business people, everybody has to, one, be current. Go outside of Highland Park, make some friends, make some connections. You can do it over the internet. Just start knowing what's going on, like you say, the development, and then start encouraging people to move to Highland Park. Start complaining and saying, hey, look, let's come up with some programs for this housing stock that we have that's not being used. Because as Detroit grows, as close to Highland Park, your property value goes up. Right now,
absolutely.
you have $250,000 houses in Highland Park. That's where this is going.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that. And, I had a call. I was getting ready to answer it, and they're
Yeah.
gone.
Well, come on
But,
back. Come on.
yeah, come on and call back. But what I was going to state, too, is there's a house. This house is 1,450 square feet, which means it's not a big house.
Mhm.
It's right across 10 Mile in Huntington Woods.
Mhm.
$345,000
Yeah.
for this bungalow.
Right.
It's basically a bungalow. Location, location, location. But not only, I'm not saying that there's going to be a house here right now like that, but what I'm saying is people want to be in the mix. Everybody knows they cannot move to Midtown or downtown.
Right.
And this is right, and see, the things that are getting ready to happen in the New Center area,
Right.
if you don't know about it, find out about it, because it's going to take place on West Grand Boulevard, East Grand Boulevard, and on down. I don't even know if that Q line, I don't pay too much attention to the Q line
Right.
because it's so slow.
Right.
But Woodward is going to be the place.
Well, it is the place. It's not going to be. It is. So let me explain. The Q line, for lack of a better terms, it's being tested. It's still in beta mode right
Right.
now. So it's functioning, and they're still working out the bugs. So that's going to improve, and it's going to expand. Okay, Highland Park, it's pros and cons to this for the residents and the owners here. If you own a home or a building of any sort here in Highland Park, then if you can weather the storm that's coming, your property is going to skyrocket in value. But
Right.
you have to understand and prepare. Your
Right.
taxes are as well. Every time they build a stadium in Detroit that's close to Highland Park, it's going to affect your economy and your taxes. That's why Highland Parkers need to know what's going on in Detroit, Ferndale, Hamtramck, anywhere where you see growth and progress. You need to be in the conversation. You need to have those
Right.
connections.
Another thing that's happening, we have such beautiful homes in Highland
Right.
Park and bed and breakfasts.
Yeah.
A bed and breakfast, which means people have taken their homes. And then what's the other thing? B&B?
B&B, yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
I mean, well, kind of.
Right, yeah, in concept.
Yeah,
It's
in
different
concept.
dynamics of how they operate and all
People
of that.
register as a B&B. That means that somebody could come to town. They're not going to stay in a hotel. They can stay at your place.
At your place.
And you get the money for
And
that.
that's where we're talking about trend or niche businesses that entrepreneurs, you can do that right now. If you already have a home or a small apartment building or whatever, or you want to invest in Highland Park and take advantage of this real estate market while you can, maybe that's the type of business, catering business.
Now,
Anything
I have said this
almost.
before. Okay, Jim Brady's Detroit,
Right,
that's
right.
over in Royal Oak.
Right.
Well, he's the grandson of the original Jim Brady's, who was on 7 Mile
Right.
years ago. Well, he told me, he said, we bought some property down on Cass and Peterborough years ago. Now they're getting ready to build another Jim Brady's. They got the stadium around
Yeah,
it, everything. Get that They got that property and they held on to it,
And
and they got it for a song.
right, and that's what's going on in Highland
That's
Park.
what's going
People,
on.
you think something is vacant in your community, it is, but it's owned by typically wealthy people who are waiting to move in. They are waiting on certain politics. They are waiting on certain tax incentives, things of that nature. So it's business going on that you don't know about because you're not part of a chamber of commerce. You're not part of a business association. You're not attending your city council meetings, things like that, or even following on social media, or even watching your show. You know,
You
have
know,
to tell
well,
your
I try to tell people what's going on because right now, okay, another example, the Whitney.
Yep.
The David Whitney house that used to be the house of
right.
David Whitney. It's down on Woodward, and Bud Liebler, who owns that. I remember when he bought it, he said, Brenda, this thing is just soaking me, but I'm waiting because I feel like things are going to happen. Things are happening,
Yeah,
and he's in the right place at the right time.
in Highland Park, please, stakeholders here, know your worth, know your value. Highland Park, if it was not for Henry Ford and Highland Park, there would be no such thing as suburbia. It would be no
Right.
such thing as middle class.
Right.
It would be no such thing as a global economy. Henry Ford had businesses in auto business in Japan, Brazil, France, Spain, places like that in the 30s. He was the first global businessman. So capitalized. Lawrence Tech was founded here in Highland Park. The first Islamic mosque in the United States was
Right.
here on Victor Street in Highland Park. So I can go on and on.
Right.
And as they say, I'm not a Parker, and I know this. So I know it as
Well,
a businessman. So
it takes time. I always consider myself a Parker.
Yeah.
Once a Parker, always a Parker. Only because, through the years, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in this community. I love this community. And I've met some of the best people I ever knew in this community. And we cannot be left behind.
right. That's,
And I think that's what you're talking
right. I'm saying
about.
know your value so you can talk about Highland Park in a good way. It is what it is right now, but Midtown was Cass Corridor, and it was a wasteland for all of us who grew up here. We know, so everybody wants to come here now and celebrate Midtown and capitalize on that, and they don't know that it was a wasteland. And,
Well, see,
and Highland Park is.
Here's
best.
another thing. Okay, parking.
Right.
The thing about parking downtown, like I said, God, where am I going to go eat? Am I going downtown to eat? Yeah, now where am I going to park? Do they have valet parking? Do they have, or the meters? You know, you got the apps
Hmm.
on your smartphone now, but parking is another thing. We have a call.
Okay.
Good morning. Hello? Hello? Can you hear
I
us?
wondering who your guest was this
Oh,
morning.
I hear you a little bit. They got to turn the speaker up.
I
Hold
can't.
on.
I
Maybe we
kind
can
of
turn this.
tuned in late and I didn't see who your guest was.
I can't. I'm not able to hear it. Hold on just a second. Um, I'm not able to hear.
I said I tuned in late and I didn't see who your guest was.
Oh,
He's who is the guest?
yes. You wanted to know who my guest is?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Okay.
My name is Roger Penzabene Jr., and I'm the chairman and CEO of the recently established Highland Park Chamber of Commerce.
Is that an elected position?
No, it's not. Let me say this and make it clear. The Chamber of Commerce is registered with the state of Michigan, nonprofit, independent business organization. We try to work with the elected officials of the cities we do business, but we are not governed by them. We don't speak for them, and we don't know what their plans are unless they tell us. But we are independent, and we do our thing, and we try to have good relationships with the elected officials.
Do you find that they don't take you serious?
In some regards, they do, and some they don't. Here in Highland Park, Mayor Yop is very supportive of us. He's a member. He's in what's called ex officio for legal terms, but he's on our board of directors. We consult with him, we support him, and we do things like that. We are trying to have good relations with the city council members here, but it's business and it's politics, so sometimes you don't see eye to eye
Yeah.
and things like that. But overall,
Well, one last question. Are those prison tattoos?
some are, yes.
Thought so.
I'm a returning
All right, peace,
citizen.
bros.
Okay. Why don't we talk to that?
Yeah. Okay. I represent all the returning citizens to show one to the public. People are not throwaway people.
Right.
Uh,
I've
you know,
had Mario Bueno,
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
yeah, he very
With
nice,
luck.
very
So
good
so
guy.
so what I say is, if you want to judge me from my past, then you're welcome to it. But if you want to know what I'm doing currently, all my people are judges, lawyers, doctors, politicians. On the executive committee for the 14th congressional district. I'm a precinct delegate in Southfield. So I'm there. I'm involved in civic duties, pride. Well, I'm an honorable discharge vet. I'm very active in veteran affairs. You can check my record on philanthropic things. I'm charitable. I'm a member of the Elks Lodge, American Legion, and several other organizations,
Right.
Masonic organizations, etc. I'm active in every community, every business. So I represent to returning citizens. Hey, don't give up. You don't have to settle for a McDonald's job and whatever if that's not your thing. Use your talents, use your skill sets, and get involved in your community and use your ambitions and your intellect to further yourself. And so you can have hope and you can do big things, major things, make an impact. And also to the society, don't believe the hype and be fearful of everybody. Find out what each person is about individually and what skill sets and connections they have and what they can do for you, and judge them individually by who they are and what they're about. So I welcome anybody to speak to me, and I'm prepared to, show you and demonstrate what I'm about.
Right, right, right. And I ran into Mayor Yap one day, and he said he vouched so much for Roger. But another piece of history: Roger's father was the writer of "I Wish It Would Rain" by the Temptations.
Yes, and
He
several
several other
other
songs
songs.
he was with Motown.
Yeah, his writing partners. My father passed away early,
Right.
and that's a whole nother story that we're working on now, my family with VH1 and some other people. But his writing partners went on to fame at Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong. So they were a three-man team.
Right.
And, my father didn't survive to have that glory. But he was a prominent songwriter. He made a lot of hits. And at Motown when it was still, Hitsville.
Right.
So
right.
we're working with the museum to do some things. So that's part of my legacy. So
Right.
but like a lot of people growing up in Detroit, I'm 52 years old. So I went to Durfee Central, Peck Elementary, which is now a vacant lot. It's called Food Field now. But I grew up around here. I spent a lot of time in Highland Park at the Y, and just different things. That were going on back then. So, as a teenager in Detroit, you things happen, and then as a businessman. So, technically, yes, I did go to prison. But anybody that wants to know the reason why I was a businessman doing business and got caught up in some stuff, and the judge didn't see it my way, saw it the other person's way. So there you go. But
Well, I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate you talking about that.
yeah.
And because there are a lot of good returning citizens.
Yeah, and my tattoos give me away. I can introduce you to a lot, like Mario. You
Right.
wouldn't know Mario
Right.
had any type of background,
Yeah,
negative or
he
past.
has a background.
Yeah, and
But
he's younger than me,
I-
but he's
I-
polished, and he probably will be a politician of
Yeah,
some sort
yeah.
sometime soon. But some people are right in your midst of different ages, seniors as well, who have a past, whether it's prison or drugs or something else, that they've got themselves together, and you wouldn't know. But then there's some of us who, from our culture in the past, have tattoos, etc. But again, I use this for entree. For instance, I work with a group called Chance for Life, which has been operating. It's founded by Jessica Taylor and Tom Adams out of Detroit. Their office is right now in the Huntington Building downtown off Woodward, and they go into MDOC for the past 22 years, and they have a program
Tell the audience, Michigan Department of
of the Michigan Department of Corrections, and they operate inside the Michigan Department of Corrections with it's a behavior modification program at its heart, but they focus on critical thinking and creative thinking, and the graduates, the inmates graduate to go on to facilitate to teach other
Well,
graduates.
one person that I've had on the show 3 times, he's not here in Detroit anymore, was Shaka Senghor.
All three
Shak-
of us are graduates of CFL.
Right.
Myself, Shaka,
Shaka-
and Mario.
Shaka, I communicate with Shaka almost every week.
And he's a successful,
I mean, and-
award-winning author. He was on podium at the NAACP. What was it, last year with
Right.
Hillary Clinton and
And
Wendell
not
Anthony
only
to
that,
receive an
he's
award.
now a producer
Yeah.
on Oprah's
Yeah.
network, and Oprah kind of embraced him. I always
Mm-hmm.
tell him, though, I said, I found you before, I discovered you before Oprah. I always let.
And Mario is backed by Mark Cuban,
Yes.
the billionaire capital investor,
Yes.
Mark Cuban. So that Mario is affiliated with Mark Cuban. So Mark Cuban trusts him and invests in him.
Right.
So I think he's connected to Betsy DeVos and Mayor Duggan.
Yeah.
So he's doing his
Get
thing.
Betsy DeVos out of here.
Well,
we don't.
I'm saying.
I mean, they got plenty of money.
Yeah,
we
but
got.
that's what I meant. That he's
In fact, right now they're expecting her to maybe quit because she said, I was reading an article yesterday where she said they did not school her right on what she was supposed to be doing in that office.
Yeah.
And her thing has been against public education. I think it's been too much for her.
Well, can we speak to the education here in Highland Park?
Oh, goodness. Yes.
Well,
I know many successful people who came out of Highland Park schools.
yes. I just want to say it is conversation in the work to not only reestablish Highland Park's
School
independent,
district.
yeah, to get schools back and public schools
It's
back in
so
Highland Park.
important. It's so necessary.
Right, and it's a lot of people, educators and investors who are waiting and willing to come here and invest to do that. but we have to get through the politics of it. So Alexis Ramsey, who is the president of the Highland Park School Board, she's been very cooperative and very supportive of the Chamber of Commerce and us of her, and she entertains the conversations along with the rest of the school board there. I can't recall
There's a
all
school
their names.
board.
Yeah, Highland Park has a operating school board, and you have to have that, regardless if you have a open school or not. You have to have it because you can't do business without, before the school can come and the funds can come. You
There
have
has to be
have
a
somebody
board.
to manage it.
But if there, yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought like certain, like Highland Park Renaissance Academy,
Yeah, those are the charter schools. It's 3 charter schools.
George
To my
Washington
knowledge,
Carver.
and Wayne Metro, and but they don't have, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, but I know for a fact they don't have a high school program of any kind
None,
here in Highland Park, and I
none.
don't think they have a middle school. I think they have like elementary or up to maybe first or third grade. I'm not sure of that, but I know they don't have a high school and they don't have special needs schools.
and that is so important.
Yeah, and
That-
so well, we have someone now, and I made a note so I get the name right. But Dr. Paula Watkins, who she has a doctorate of education, and she's affiliated. She's a board member. She's our director of education with the Chamber of Commerce, but she also runs 3 cyber academies, and so she's been negotiating.
what's a
with,
cyber academy?
Well, it's online schooling. So
You know, and that's very popular now.
yeah, and I want to just make sure I get the plug in right for her. It's because she's a big supporter of Highland Park. It's Cyber Education Center with Regents Academy, so that's connected. Then it's Unified Middle Virtual Academy and Southeast Virtual Academy. Those are all her cyber education schools, and basically her program, they supply everything you need as a student, and it's not, you can even be want to go back to school. So instead of going to get a GED, and you may be a single parent, or you may be a returning citizen, or you may be a senior and you want to go back and get your high school diploma, not a GED, she has an accredited program that you will get a high school diploma and you will get 21st century education. And they supply the laptops, they supply everything you need, and you can go to school from wherever you're comfortable, from your home, or you can go to one of their brick and mortar hubs.
Yeah,
They tailor it for you.
Right,
They tailor the
right,
hours,
right.
everything for you. So I can get you more information on that. You can visit, if I can,
Yeah.
you can go to hpmichamber@gmail.com. That's our email. We will reply back to you. Or we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and also peoplemovers.com, which I highly recommend everybody.
Now, what is that?
It's a social media app, but it's a hybrid. I describe it as a cross between Facebook and LinkedIn. So it's a little more detailed and organized than LinkedIn, and it's very social like Facebook, but without all the nonsense, without
Right.
What you had for lunch and all that type of
Right,
stuff.
right.
So you can check it out. It's a free app if you go to Google Play Store and download the peoplemovers.com app. Then you can create your own account, and I think everybody will like it. And you don't have to get rid of anything else. Just incorporate that, especially as a business person or a civic activist. You want to reach everybody you can. So why not? If it's free, a free platform, use it. Connect your city. The city of Highland Park uses it. They're on there. They have governments that's on there. So. And that can segue if you want me to tell them about the Lunch and Learn.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, before, our phone number is 313-349-0587. Our post office box is Post Office Box 3989, Highland Park, Michigan. And like I said, you can go on Facebook to highlandparkchamberofcommerce.com. And our website, it's a secured website, too, for all the corporate and business entities. We do have a secured website, and that's hpmichamber.org is the website.
HPMI Chamber.
Chamber, no S, chamber.org. And we're having hosting for all the business owners, potential investors, entrepreneurs, civic leaders, block club leaders, etc. on November 22nd, which is a Wednesday, from noon to 2. We are hosting what we call Lunch and Learn. You can come have lunch on us and peoplemovers.com. You'll learn everything about the Chamber of Commerce, how it'll benefit you, what it's about, how you can be involved, etc. And you'll learn all the details about peoplemovers.com, which is growing daily on the web. And so you can learn firsthand about that. You can socialize, pass out your business cards. So it's a network mixer, a free lunch, and it's going to be at Coca-Cola.
Food.
Yeah, it's going
I
to.
always used to tell, I always tell this story on here. My viewers know that anytime I wanted my kids to go somewhere with me and they didn't want to go, I said, they have food. But,
But it's going to be hosted courtesy of Coca-Cola right here at 12225 Oakland Park Place. That's the industrial plaza right there on Oakland in Highland Park. So
I got to find that.
that's 12225 Oakland Park Place in Highland Park at the Coca-Cola building there. And also,
What does this Coca-Cola building do? I just did not know there was a Coca-Cola building
I
here.
think they do distribution.
Uh-huh.
They, for the
That's my
bottling
favorite
for
drink.
This area over here.
That's my favorite drink.
But that's an example when I say get involved. Call them and ask them what they do, or maybe invite them to the show.
Right.
They.
Well, that's why I'm coming next
Yeah,
week
yeah.
to the event.
And maybe they will fund and support, be a sponsor.
I
of this
need
show.
them.
So we can work together. When I'll go and speak to Dominic there and see if he's the general manager there, and see if he will meet you.
Everybody, a raisin in the sun. Highland Park is part of that Woodward corridor, Hamilton and everything. Hamilton used to be the most beautiful street also.
Yeah.
It even had a movie theater on it. But it's, I think that I always believe that Highland Park is coming back.
Well, and you spoke about movie theater. I met with Paul Glantz, who is the owner.
I know that name.
He's the owner, founder of Imagine Theaters.
Yeah.
And I was trying my best to talk him into putting a theater here, and the best I got, he did tell me, get with me next week. But I want to suggest to the Highland Park people and the neighbors too, because it includes them. Maybe you want to email or call and be polite and respectful and just say to Mr. Glantz, hey, put a theater here. We'll support it. Right now we go to the suburbs. Put one here in our community and we'll support it. Let him hear it
Well,
from
they're
you.
getting ready to build I don't know if it's Imagine, but one outside of Eastern Market.
Yeah, well, I think he wouldn't say where his location is, but maybe that.
I know. People tell me things.
I know it's going to be close by,
People
so it's
tell
still
me
under
things.
wraps. So you kind of gotta keep current. You gotta have your ear to the ground. But I'm saying, this is what works for every business, especially corporations. When they know the stakeholders, the people in that community want them and welcome them and will support them, they're more inclined to come. So, it's a simple email. Just send an email to Mr. Paul Glantz at Imagine Theaters and just say, we want your business. We want you in our community. We'll support in any way we can. Even to volunteer to clear the land, whatever. Make an investment in yourself. He'll listen to us like Chamber of Commerce politicians to an extent, but he's going to ask that question. What do the stakeholders want? What are they willing to do to have us invest? And so you need that for the employment opportunities, etc. And please tell him that the Chamber of Commerce advised you to email him. And I will do, if you give me a directive, I'll be glad to facilitate it. Email me and tell me what you want in your community.
Give him that email address one more time.
We're hpmichamber@gmail.com. And you can find out more about me. I'll reply. You can tell me what you want in your community, what you want to see. We can meet. I'll support whatever projects you have going, if it's positive, inside of Highland Park and in the neighboring communities. So anything you need from me, feel free to contact me, and I'll help connect you to the right people if I can't help you. But I'm here to do business. I'm here to help. I'm here to improve in every kind of way.
What I was going to say with the closing in the last 6 months or 7 months, we had Walgreens closed. Now we have that McDonald's closed. Do you think that now it didn't say the land was for sale?
Right.
That was the thing I
Right.
noticed. So, what do you think could happen with those two particular businesses?
Well, I think Family Dollar took over the Walgreens, so a Family Dollar
okay.
is about to open in that building. And for those who don't know, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Family Dollar is all the same company. So they
Yeah, but that's what we were saying the other day. Vic was saying, he said, we have so many dollar stores
right.
in Highland Park.
and that's
though.
because they see Highland Park as a poor community. So if you don't want to settle for, you know, beauty supply and that type
Yeah.
of thing, if you want a Red Robin and a Krispy Kreme and an Imagine Theater in your
Right.
community, then you have to open your mouth. You have to send emails. You have to go to the different people in the different places and be supportive. You have to support your Chamber of Commerce and all like-minded business associations. You have to support Ms. Perriman's show. She can't operate without funds and sponsorship. And if it's nobody who cares about the community, then what's the sense in her promoting? So
BrendaPerryman.com.
yeah, and so, but that's Woodward is going to develop no matter what.
No matter
So you
what
don't have
we
to worry
do,
about
but you
Woodward.
need to get on top of it.
And in
Roger.
closing, let
Oh,
me say,
tell him.
just to Dan Gilbert to this is not public knowledge, but I'm giving you what you say about
heads up.
inside information. He made a major investment in Highland Park and bought a lot of property. So anybody in business circles, anybody that's logical as a business person, kind of knows that mean, hey, it's some happy days coming this way.
Right.
You know, so get in the game.
So we got to hold it down. Listen, join me this Friday. Got a great show. Plus, I have Table Talk. And Roger, thank you so much for coming,
Thank
giving
you for
us that
having me.
heads up. And I'll see those people, business people, next week at Coca-Cola next
Right.
Wednesday.
Everybody come on out. Email me, call me up. Let's get together. I'll be happy to meet you. And just looking forward to knowing everybody in Highland Park who wants to be known like myself.
Okay. See you next time.